How to get an MDDP after a first DUI offense in Illinois. When you're convicted of a DUI in Illinois, your driver's license is suspended anywhere from 6 months to 3 years after your conviction. However, if it's your first offense, you may be eligible for a monitoring device driving permit, MDDP. This permit allows you to drive your car anywhere and for any reason without restriction, but you must have a breath alcohol device installed. This device keeps the car from starting until you've blown into the device to have your breath tested for alcohol. Part 1. Confirming your eligibility. 1. Receive notice from the Secretary of State, SOS, office. You will receive a notice from the SOS office when your statutory summary suspension period begins. This notice lets you know how long your license will be suspended. The notice also will include information about getting an MDDP. However, keep in mind that this information is sent to everyone convicted of a DUI. Just because you receive information about getting an MDDP does not mean you are eligible for an MDDP. If you aren't eligible for an MDDP, you may be eligible for another form of restricted permit that allows you to drive when necessary for work or school, or only within a certain area or for short distances. 2. Check your criminal and driving records. You are only eligible for an MDDP if you are a first-time offender. However, the phrase first-time offender can be confusing, because it is possible to qualify for an MDDP even if you've previously been convicted of a DUI. In Illinois, anyone who has not been convicted of a DUI within the past 5 years is considered a first-time offender. This includes convictions in another state. Thus, if you were convicted of a DUI 7 years ago, you still may be considered a first-time offender for purposes of qualifying for an MDDP. This does not apply if you've ever been convicted of reckless homicide or a DUI that resulted in someone's death. However, not all first-time offenders qualify for an MDDP. Your license must otherwise be valid, without any other serious traffic citations within that 5-year period. If you're not sure whether you qualify, you can look at your criminal and driving records to determine whether you are eligible. Consult an attorney if you're still not sure. 3. Review the circumstances of your offense. Even if you are a first-time offender, you may not be eligible for an MDDP depending on the circumstances surrounding your DUI arrest. If you got a DUI as a result of your involvement in a collision with another car, you may be ineligible for an MDDP. Illinois does not give MDDPs to offenders whose DUI came out of a car accident that resulted in death or serious injury as the result of an accident. If you received your DUI as the result of your involvement in an accident, you may want to talk to an attorney about whether you qualify for an MDDP. 4. Determine if you need a commercial exemption. Generally, you cannot drive a commercial vehicle with an MDDP. However, Illinois allows an exemption if you drive an employer-owned vehicle during work hours. The employer-owned vehicle cannot be issued to you, and will not be fitted with a breath alcohol device. You don't qualify for this exemption if you are self-employed or work at a business owned by a family member. 5. Complete drug or alcohol evaluation and treatment. You must complete an evaluation and educational courses to have your license reinstated after the statutory summary suspension period is over. If the evaluation reveals that you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you may be required to complete a treatment program before your license will be reinstated. Getting an MDDP is not the same as getting your license reinstated. However, the state still may request proof that you have been evaluated and are seeking treatment if necessary. Part 2. Applying for your permit. 1. Receive your application. Sometime during the first month of your statutory summary suspension period, you'll get an application for the MDDP in the mail from the SOS office. Typically, this also is included with the initial notice you received when your statutory summary suspension period began. If you don't have that notice, or if you've lost the application that was sent to you, go to the SOS office nearest you and request a copy of the application. You can locate the nearest SOS office by using the facility finder on the SOS office's website. You also can download a PDF copy of the application from the SOS office's website. You can print this application and mail it in just as you would the application that was originally sent to you. You cannot apply for an MDDP directly online. 2. Complete and submit your application. The initial MDDP application is a single-page form that asks for basic information about you, including your name, address, and phone number. You also must provide your driver's license number. If you want to apply for an employment exemption, you must include the name and contact information for your employer. The SOS will contact your employer to verify the information and talk to them about the suspension of your license and the need for you to drive an employer-owned car. The address to which you must mail your application is included at the bottom of the form. Make a copy of your completed application for your records before you mail it. 3. Complete and submit your requirements package. Within 48 hours after your application is received by the SOS office, you'll be sent a requirements package in the mail that outlines everything else you must do to be issued an MDDP. You may have to submit additional information or documentation at this time. Make a copy of anything you send to the SOS office so you have a complete record of everything you've submitted to them. To get an MDDP, you must pay a $30 per month monitoring fee. This fee, as well as an $8 fee to print your permit, must be paid to the SOS before your permit will be issued. The amount of your fees will vary depending on how long your MDDP lasts. All monitoring fees must be paid in full upfront. For example, if you have an MDDP for 6 months, you would have to pay $180 in monitoring fees plus the $8 printing fee. Pay your fees using a cashier's check or money order made payable to the Illinois Secretary of State. Make a copy of your check before you mail it to the SOS office. 4. Wait for approval. Once the SOS receives your requirements package, it takes between 7 and 10 days to process your application and issue your MDDP. During that time, the SOS office will review your application materials and the court order in your case. When your application has been processed, you'll get a notification from the SOS office in the mail. This notification will let you know if your application has been approved. You also will receive a copy of the terms and conditions for your MDDP. This form must be signed before your MDDP will be issued. Make sure you read the terms and conditions carefully and understand them before you sign the form. Your permit won't be sent to you until you are within 2 weeks or less of the 31st day of your statutory summary suspension. The permit does not go into effect until that 31st day. Part 3. Driving on your permit. 1. Have a breath alcohol ignition interlock device, BAID, installed. Once you receive your MDDP, it is your responsibility to contact an approved vendor and have a BAID installed in your car. The SOS office will provide you with a list of approved vendors. Which vendor you choose is up to you. You're free to shop around to find the vendor closest to you or with the lowest installation fees. You only have 14 days from the date your MDDP goes into effect to have a BAID installed. You cannot drive your vehicle, even with an MDDP, until the device is installed. However, during that initial 14-day period, you are allowed to drive your car to the installation site using your MDDP. If you cannot complete installation during the initial 14-day period, call the SOS office's BAID division at 217, 524, 0660 to request an extension. Keep in mind that if you get an extension, you are no longer allowed to drive your car to the installation site. 2. Blow in the device when prompted. You must blow in your BAID before you start your car, as well as submit random breath tests while driving. Anyone else who drives your car also must submit breath tests through your BAID. If someone else is driving your car, make sure they understand how to operate the BAID before they get in the driver's seat. Keep in mind that if you or anyone else tries to start the car before using the BAID, it will register as an attempt to circumvent the device, and you will have to explain what happened to the SOS office. Too many such attempts can result in loss of your permit. When you use the device, it will take a photo of you breathing into the device. This provides evidence that you weren't attempting to circumvent the device. If the device signals the need for a random breath test while driving, you should pull over to a safe place to provide your breath sample, rather than trying to do it while the car is in motion. 3. Explain any BAID violations promptly. The data from your BAID will be sent to the SOS office in 60-day increments. If a violation is reported, you will be sent a notice from the SOS office and given an opportunity to explain the violation. You are responsible for taking your BAID to the vendor every 60 days so the data can be monitored. If your BAID registers a reading of 0.025 or higher, your car will not start. If the reading is 0.05 or higher, your car will not start for 24 hours. Anytime you get a notice from the SOS office that a violation has been reported by your BAID, respond with a complete and truthful explanation as quickly as possible. If you violate the BAID program, the SOS office may extend your MDDP time, meaning you have to wait longer before you can get your license reinstated in full, or may revoke your permit and reinstate your suspension. 4. Avoid getting any traffic citations. Your continued enrollment in the BAID program depends not just on whether you consume alcohol while driving. Any traffic citation issued while you have an MDDP can result in your permit time being extended. More serious traffic offenses, or repeat traffic offenses, may result in your MDDP being revoked. If your MDDP is revoked, you will not be able to drive at all until the statutory summary suspension period is over and you've successfully applied for reinstatement of your driving privileges. 5. Pay monthly fees as required. While fees vary greatly among vendors, you can expect to pay around $85 for BAID installation and an additional $80 a month to rent the BAID. If you have extremely limited income and assets, some of these fees may be waived. To find out if you qualify for a fee waiver, ask the SOS office for an indigency application. If the court declares you indigent, they will waive some, but not all, of the fees involved in the BAID program. The frequency and method of payment of monthly fees vary among vendors. Some vendors may accept monthly payments, while others require advance payment of all fees before your device is installed. Warnings. If you are caught driving a vehicle not equipped with a BAID at any point during your MDDP permit period, your permit will be revoked and you may be guilty of a Class 4 felony. The penalty is a minimum of 30 days in jail, although you may be sentenced to up to 3 years in jail and required to pay up to $25,000 in fines.